Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage, and Patreon subscriber John has given me a dealer's choice to play whatever I want in preparation of the NYSE Open, which is less than a month away at this point. Sign up now if you plan on coming. It's the last one that's going to be run in its current form. The last chance to play a tournament where the top 8 all leave with Power 9. The signups are in my video description. Go do that. This league lined up well with something I wanted to do anyway, which is Justin Gennari. I am actually level 1. Friend of the show, has been playing around in this kind of big blue control card draw package space where 4 flow state, 4 stock up, 4 Lorien revealed. This is a huge amount of card of advantage inevitability, and this can be housed in most blue decks. The only additional ask is that your deck has some instants in it, which most vintage decks would. And it started as a thought experiment of what if Paradoxical Outcome didn't have to play Paradoxical Outcome. PO does give you those nut draws where you draw your deck and you win all at once, but it also is a clunker. I frequently board out 1 to 4 copies of Paradoxical Outcome when I play that deck, because I expect my artifacts to be unsafe after sideboard. And in the current vintage format with main deck Null Rods, Lavinias, the POs might not be safe in the main even. Exploring all of this, all this mana, we've got almost as much fast mana as we're allowed to play. There's no Mox Opal, no Mana Vault, but the full boat of Moxen plus Mana Crypt, that's what separates this deck from a Dimir-based Lurrus control deck, the Psychic Frog strategies. They usually play 2 or 3 Moxen. You don't see Mana Crypt, you don't usually see Soul Ring, and they just have a lot more spells. This one has more mana, and then it uses that mana to convert that into even more spells. That's also the difference from a Jeskai Lurrus deck playing something like Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is also something that's out there in the ether. It's largely been shown by this point that Psychic Frog is better than Dreadhorde. And figuring out, A, if this flow state stock up Lorien revealed package works, is one bar to clear. And then if we find out this does work, where do we put it? This is 12 cards, they're all blue. Maybe this could support a Psychic Frog plan. Maybe that's better than Thundertrap Trainer and Flame of Anor. We just play Psychic Frog and some other stuff into Grixis Shell. Maybe Lurrus is not what we want, and this is a Monastery Mentor deck. Maybe Jeskai Lurrus is the place to be, and Thundertrap Trainer isn't the threat we want. There's a lot to still figure out. I did a Scryfall deep dive before recording this to try to figure out if there's any way to make Dreadhorde Arcanist bigger that isn't super embarrassing. Like, if I could just get a single +1 counter on a Dreadhorde and start flashing back flow states when I attack, I would be in, but the cards you'd have to play to do that are pretty rough. There's also a bunch of other wizards you could play. And Dreadhorde is a wizard, which is part of the appeal, but the 1-drops in the deck are Ancestral Recall, Brainstorm, Gitaxian Probe, and then counter spells that you won't be flashing back in combat. Not a very good card, actually, here. But there's Meddling Mage, there's the Red Emeritus from Strixhaven, there's Drake Hatcher, there's other things you could do while having wizards that hit a little harder. That's one of my concerns here. Is 4th Aerolingus still the best way that we could win a game if we can't cast it for X equals 20? I don't know, but I'm excited to play this. I like the Lurrus control decks in the format. I like the Jeskai Color Wedge. I like having broken fast mana in my vintage deck. Let's try it out. This is PO-less PO.
The NYSE Open is returning on June 6, 2026 to Long Island, New York. This proxy-friendly vintage tournament has the guaranteed prize pool of 8 pieces of Power 9 to be drafted by the top 8 based on final standings. Any additional profits made from the event will be added to the prize pool as on-site vendor credit. This tournament has been great the last 2 years. How often do you get to act sad about winning just a time walk? You know I'll be there. See you at the NYSE Open on June 6 on Long Island, New York. Use my link in the video description or find the New York Stacks Exchange on melee.gg.
I'm on the play for round 1. I have not a Lurrus from my opponent. I will keep this. It's pretty modest. I mean, this is almost a legacy hand other than the Time Walk. But Brainstorm moves stuff around. I have three blue cards I could pitch to force. I don't mind a Time Walk. Okay, we've got some Dredge in the chat. Not ideal. This is a matchup that is basically just an L, I would imagine, in the main deck. I have no Soul Guide Lantern, no land destruction of any kind. I can't combo kill them. I think I'm basically dead here already. Golgari Thug. They're griefing me. I'm gonna Brainstorm in response. Okay. If I put Time Walk and Ancestral Recall on top, that could get this game moving. Or do I want them to take the Time Walk and then Flow State is on? All right, I'm putting back Time Walk and Ancestral. Okay, here we go. My hand has 3 answers to Hollow One in it. I can't really be taken off of that if that's their follow-up. They can make it harder. If they take the Plow, then I can't cast Flame of Anor right now, and Force of Will cost me 2 cards. But I don't think I'm going to lose this game to a Hollow One. They took the Plow. Hollow One. I'm going to force pitching. I think I want to pitch Flow State, actually, because Flame of Anor does so much here. All right, 2 Hollow Ones. 1 card in their hand. I just really have to hope it's not Mental Misstep. Wow, putting Force of Will on top of my deck. Okay. I mean, it's ugly, but it works. I'll put Lurrus in my hand. They gave me Force Blue card. They have 1 Modest Dredger here. Missing would be insane. All right, they found some more Thugs. And a Shell. 2 Creeping Chills. That gets the chain going. They have a Silver Smoke Ghoul, which triggers Prized Amalgam. Yeah, that first brick of dredges was moderate to fine. But now they're going to have so many things. There's an Icarid in there as well. Okay. Well, this is what you played around. Good call. Ancestral myself. Cycle Lorien revealed. Get Volcanic Island. Time Walk. And did that do anything? Another Lorien that I cannot cast. There's no permanents in my graveyard for Lurrus, who I also cannot cast. I can destroy Hollow One. No, this game's unwinnable. I needed to get very lucky to win a game 1 versus Dredge anyway, and I did not. Okay, Soul Guide, Needle, Tormod's Crypt, Containment Priest, Over Encumbered. Pretty heavy hate in this sideboard, because there has to be, because our main deck's quite bad. Force of Negations out, Mindbreak Trap out. I don't think I really want to be taking damage to my own Mana Crypt. And then Consign to Memory and Swords to Plowshares have text versus Dredge. They're just not the hammers that all these other cards are. And I can look around for some options. Mental Misstep does not matter against them. That buys me an extra Plow. I could shave Basic Island. I do have all of this interaction, or all this fast mana in my deck. That buys me a Consign. Consign can help versus things like Creeping Chill and Archamoeba, which can create insane cascades of dying, like we just observed. I think I'm going to stop there. It would be okay to cut Cataxian Probe here. I just want sorceries in my deck also. Okay, this hand is quite nice. I'm going to keep. And I'll rip off this Tormod's Crypt. If they fight over it, I can pierce that. If they don't fight over it, I can Ancestral or Lorien. Bizarre. Okay, end step. I'm clear of Grief right now, and they can't force a Vigor. I'm going to lock up my second land here and just make sure that my Spell Pierce stays relevant. I'm going to pass the turn, as most of their interaction, the Force of Negations and Force of Wills, or the Force of Negations and Force of Vigors happen on their turn, or happen on my turn. So I'm going to try to play Magic on their turn. And Tormod's Crypt is not a lock piece. This is like Wrath of God in the matchup. If you think about Wrath of God versus an aggro deck, it kills the things they currently have, but doesn't necessarily stop the next thing. This is one of the weakest pieces of hate, but it will buy me a little bit of time. And they just got a Dredge that didn't go anywhere, which means they have to push a little harder, try to get a Dredge that actually does go somewhere. The more they dredge that I don't have to respond to, the better. Okay, they've hit a Narcomoeba, which would trigger a Prized Amalgam. I'd like to Ancestral Recall myself right now. Or they could still have Grief. That doesn't matter. All right, Ancestral myself now with this Narcomoeba on the stack. Mental Misstep, pretty annoying. Spell Pierce it. Ancestral hits, and if Narcomoeba triggers, Prized Amalgam will trigger in the end step. Like, I could play around a second Bazaar. No, it's fine. I'm just going to bomb now. I'm not going to let anything happen. Because if they have a second Bazaar, they don't have to tap it either. And then they could, like, dredge over top of my end step interaction. Not trying to play any of that. Okay, currently no graveyard, no second Bazaar. Hollow One is here. I think I just want to stock up. Or Thunder Trap might be better. That could turn on more action for next turn. The Flame of Nor is already in my hand, and the mana works out that I could flow state here. A Swords to Plowshares and a Consign to Memory. I'll take the Plow, and I think I actually just want to flow state. Mindbreak Trap is on, but go ahead, I guess. Or some negation pitching Prized Amalgam. I'll take it. A passing. Upkeep Bazaar. This gives them the chance to discard a Dredger, and there's Grave Troll before their actual draw step, which hit Creeping Chill and Silver Smoke Ghoul. They're right back in. I think I have to take this for... I have so much interaction in my hand. Silver Smoke Ghoul comes back. Force of Vigor, going Hellbent to kill just my Soul Ring. Alright, deal. I have a powerful instant to cast. I'll draw 2 cards and destroy target artifact. Okay, missed on the land. Got there anyway. Okay, Over Encumbered is better than Plow. If you haven't seen this card, Enchant Opponent. When this aura enters, Enchanted Opponent creates a clue, a food, and a junk. At the beginning of combat on Enchanted player's turn, the player must pay 1 for each artifact they control. If they don't, creatures can't attack this combat. Dredge does not play lands in their deck. Lands that make mana, which means they can't use any of these items. And now I just need to try not to get burned out by their Creeping Chills. I'm at 11, and only 1 chill has been accounted for, so this actually, if all 4 chills are still in their deck, they can still win this game, but that's the only way. Or they could draw into a Force of Vigor plus green card. All right, 1, 2, 3, stock up. Pithing Needle. And do I want Thundertrap Trainer, Tolarian Academy, or Mox Ruby? I guess I'll take the Trainer. And 10's the same as 11 here, but having white up might matter. I'm going to fetch for Volk and Pithing Needle, Bazaar Baghdad. Okay, now it will be hard for them to dredge into the thing they need. They have to slow dredge, which is much more attainable for me to beat. I would love to cantrip into a counterspell to really lock it up. All right, cool. They're just done. Okay, Dredge Hate kicking in. A Gitaxian Probe, not actually good against them. It is a sorcery, though. Would I rather have a Plow or a Consign in over one of those cards? I still don't really think so. Deck submitted. Let's go. The opponent mulligan to 6. My hand is quite bad. There's no counter hate here, and there's my endgame clunker in my hand. Mulligan this. Oh, deck, why? Opponent powdered, and then mull to 5. I'll go 2. Yikes. All right. I don't really want to go to 4. Opponent has stopped on 5. What do my 4s look like? This 5 does what? It puts 4th Aerolingus and Flow State to the bottom, and then it tries to Thunder Trap its way out. Soul Ring's pretty awkward. It's like the one thing. All right, I'm going to go to 4, looking for hate, actual hate. Still impossible to find, but I will stop here. Okay, I got to put 3 of these to the bottom. I think it's Flame, Archive, Flow State. Yeah, this stinks, but I've got some good draws. Opponent took some mulligans as well. For that, I am grateful. But they do have Grief. For that, I am ungrateful. Wow, discarded 2 Bazaars. Is their hand just all 4 Bazaars? That would be so crazy. Okay, I imagine I'm going to lose my Black Lotus here. I could still rip Pithing Needle, Soul Guide Lantern, land over encumbered. Okay. I mean, I'll do some stuff. No money flow state, but we got to do what we got to do here. Do I want land 3 or Gitaxian Probe as a redraw? These are both sorceries, so neither of them fuel the next flow state. I guess I'll just take my land. All right, here we go. They've got Stinkweed Imp in the graveyard. Did not activate Bazaar in the upkeep. That means there's a card in their hand they actually want. Okay. They're griefing out my Spell Pierce, going to Hellbent, and Shambling Shell's the only dredger here. Please miss, have a bad one. Hit a second shell. No, Narcomoeba, Prized Amalgam. They're getting something going here. Okay, this is pretty modest, but it's about to become unmodest. Let's find a hate piece right now. There's a Saga. All right, game on. That could do stuff. Put Luris in my hand. And now it's up to the dredging, which they get to do quite a lot of. Narcomoeba found nothing. That's all the Bazaars accounted for. Second dredge was also nothing. Now they get a draw step dredge if they want it, which was also... They found Grave Troll, so they can dredge slightly harder. All right, big turn to find an actual hate piece. Stock up. Okay. What are you working with over here? We've got Icarid. There's one Icarid. Unless they're boarded out, all 4 chills are still in their deck. Well, my options here are stock up for 1 mana Graveyard Hate. That would be Tormod Script, Pithing Needle, Soul Guide Lantern, and then hope Urza Saga can get me back into the game next turn. I can play Luris Lotus, have a mana left over after I stock up, or I could just make a construct. I think I need Luris in play. A Tundra, Luris, Black Lotus. I could cast stock up with a blue floating, or like with Mox Sapphire still up, or I could make white off Lotus and try to spike Swords to Plowshares. I think I'm just going to stock up with my Sapphire available. Looking for a big one. And found nothing at all. Okay, sad. This is no interaction of any kind. I guess I'll take a stock up and Mox Ruby. This makes my construct a little bigger next turn, if I end up making it, if I get a next turn. Alright, how cooked am I? We're just playing pachinko, the old slot machine at this point. 1 Creeping Chill, 17 cards left in their deck. Icarid, get another Dredge 6 here, 2 Narcomoebas. Okay, so either some amount of chills were boarded out, or all 3 of them are going to hit me next turn. Those are the possible outcomes. And I'm going to lose Luris this turn, because I have to. Or I could go to 1. 3, 6, 7, 8. Hold on. What does being at 1 do for me? And it lets me have another turn with Black Lotus in play. Alright, I'm going to 1. Let's party. I find some lock piece that wins me the game here, or I don't, are kind of the outcomes. And Luris can gain me back up to 4 life by attacking, which plays around one of the chills. Okay, I don't think making a construct is going to benefit me in any capacity. Yeah, I'm dead to all these flyers. And going to 4 won't help. Alright. I just want my mana available to do stuff. I could grab Soul Guide Lantern here, which is good against their graveyard and good with Luris. Okay, Soul Guide Lantern, bonk the Icarid, Emerald, stock up, looking for Overencumbered. Oh, baby! Overencumbered is found. And do I want 4th Aerolingus or Lorien revealed? How do I think this game is actually going to go? I think they're going to deck out, so 4th Aerolingus is kind of pointless. Okay, I'll take Lorien. Okay, I've cast 1 spell this turn, so Mindbreak Trap's off. I will encumber you. Oh no, I have cast the Mox Emerald. Oh, whoops. Alright, so I wasn't playing around that anyway. Now I can Soul Guide Lantern them and then replay Soul Guide Lantern. Or I could just put Black Lotus in play and hold the Soul Guide Lantern. If my opponent has... What card? What card am I playing around? Noxious Revival. It would be better to hold the Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe I should count those. 1, 2, 3 in the graveyard. 4. Okay, so they can't have Noxious Revival. Do I want them on 0 graveyard and Soul Guide Lantern still face up? And if I do that, does being at 4 life matter? Because I can attack with Luris, trade with these 2 Narcomoebas, I'm at 4. But if I have Creeping Chill covered anyway, do I care about that? Can they Creeping Chill me twice this turn? I don't think so. Because if 2 Chills are hit off a single Dredge or a single Bazaar activation, then I can get them both with Soul Guide. If they slow Dredge once, hit a Chill, force me to bomb them, then activate Bazaar, that puts cards in their graveyard, but then they need to draw more cards, which they wouldn't be able to do because all their Bazaars are accounted for. Okay, I'm going to play Black Lotus and stay at 1. And I'll pass the turn. I think if Luris is in play with Soul Guide, I can't lose to the thing that they could have. Okay, they did not bring back their Icarid. Good call, it doesn't do anything. A Dredge. You've got 11 cards left in your deck. These Dredges are pretty significant cost. Okay, there's a Creeping Chill. Oh shit, I fucked up. I did need to bomb this. Now they Dredge in response and hit another one and I lose. Okay, I did all that thinking. I just forgot that Bazaar Baghdad is just untapped in the upkeep. Yeah, they just Dredge. Or is there... Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I had it all and just chose to lose instead. If I just activate the Soul Guide Lantern, I win. Dumbass. All right. So that was me overthinking myself and coming to the complete wrong conclusion. This is why we test. On to the next round.
The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here.
I'm on the play in round 2. We've got a Luris Mirror of some kind here. I'm going to keep... My hand is very good against combo Luris and fine versus non-combo Luris. I think with the density of card payoffs, I'm totally cool keeping a hand that needs a card payoff. Especially if it's good versus the combo half of the Luris spread. Black Lotus, 1 spell. Mana Vault. Alright, Mindbreak Trap's on. Thunder Trap Trainer. I don't want that to be in play. Alright, let's go straight into the garbage together. Alright. You've resolved an Ancestral. So now I'm in a little bit of trouble. Ancestral pitched Flame. They're definitely Luris PO. The Mana Vault tells them that it's not my deck. Opponent said in the chat, greediest keep in the West and then pass the turn. So I don't know what that means. Does that just mean they didn't have a land? And I'm going to rip this homie off. If they force my Luris here, I have very little going on, but I just have to hope that they don't. Okay, they're taking beats from this Mana Vault. They've found Volcanic Island. I am getting smoked. Well, so if they didn't have a double send on turn 1, I would have cast Lorien Revealed by now. So the keep wasn't itself rotten. And I am also kind of ahead, but if they dig out of this, they're going to quickly take over. And I don't have sorcery in my graveyard. Meticulous Archive, kind of a sight for sore eyes among bad draws go. This could flip something Luris could cast. That would be busted. All right, couldn't be so lucky. If that was just Thunder Trap Trainer and we're in business, that would be awesome. Okay, opponent still has 6 spells in their hand, haven't done anything. That's a good spell. Attack with Luris. And rip this thing off. It resolved. Now Flow State is on. Okay, we're cooking. Mox Jet, get in. Blue, blue, blue. Flow State with Flusterstorm floating. I still have my Luris play. Put Flow State and Force of Will in my hand. Let's go. Flow State again. Stock up Brainstorm. Black Lotus out of the graveyard. Now I feel good. We were just waiting for someone to break it open. It was either I find a spell to cast or they find mana to cast their spells. Screw usually beats Flood, but if Flood unscrews itself or unfloods itself with a handful of spells all out of nowhere, that's a way to flip the script. Okay, so pretty classic turn 1 vintage showdown, but my deck had a more flat range of distributions of things that could happen. And theirs needed their draw 3 to connect. It's kind of, the the theory that we're built on here. Do I want any Swords of Plowshares in my deck? I'm bringing in a bunch of Stonies, so I don't want Mana Crypt. I like all my blue cards. I could leave in one Plow for their one Lurrus, but I do also have Flames even without Plow, and an incredible amount of counter magic. Yeah, I think I'm going to go no interaction, though with the two Stonies in, should I be cutting an off-color Mox here? I just cut the Emerald with the Crypt. Yeah, I think I'd buy that. There we go. Okay, a turn 1 Stony Silence with Force backup, and then if I find more mana, Flow State can load me up. Let's do it. Falk, Mox, Mox. And that big pile of Mox in is what I was hoping for with this Stony. Yeah. Let's fight. I have to fight somewhere on this turn. Might as well be here. Okay. Ancestral Resolves. Soul Ring. You love to see it when this is my plan. Black Lotus. Sack for white. Might as well put this on the stack, I guess. It's mana this turn, even if it doesn't help later. I think I want to Flow State first, in case I find more protection. Thunder Trap versus Brainstorm. Brainstorm, I already have instant, and this is about to be sorcery. Is it weird that I want them to force my Stony Silence at this point? I think I want Brainstorm because I have to find lands from here. Stony Silence. Okay. I did not find a land on all those looks, but hopefully this is worse for them than it is for me. Galarian Academy. That card's good. Soul Guide Lantern. So much for my flow states. Well, okay, they are taking the sorcery. They could have taken the Lotus to get ahead of future Lurrus action, which is kind of interesting. But they did successfully take me off of flow state. Brainstorm. All right, this is a lot of force of will for someone with Hexing Squelcher in play. And I'm going to pass. When they hit land drops over and over again post Stony Silence is when life's not great. I'm going to get Meticulous Archive here. Tundra. I'm about to cycle for one of those anyway. I'll put that in the graveyard. And we're in a spot where it actually matters that I was going to cycle for that anyway, because I need the sorcery to go to the graveyard. And I do think Flow State is better than Thunder Trap here. Brutal. Okay, they can't cast Lurrus with the mana they're showing. Now they can. Though Lurrus doesn't do anything. I mean, it's a 3/2 lifelink, which, as we saw in game 1, does matter a lot. But Lurrus isn't casting spells right now. Thunder Trap Trainer. Leave up a Tundra. Flame of Anor. This is my only hope. Pass. Hope they have nothing. 2 cards in hand, lots of mana. Please don't do anything. Or have any protection of any kind. A Mox that doesn't work. This is probably a PO then. Merchant Scroll. Yeah, sure. Scroll for PO. At game 1, we saw what happens when the combo deck doesn't get to combo, and game 2, we're seeing what happens when the control deck has not successfully controlled. Time Walk, okay. Pretty good. Yeah, the Hexing Squelcher, I want another plow in for game 3. Mox Opal. Soul Guide Lantern. Can't take me off of flow state this time. I have instant and sorceries, 2 of each. Oh, okay. Now, with two Soul Guide Lanterns, you can take me off it. That's interesting that they have so many of those in the deck, though. Okay. I cannot possibly win. GG. I'll bring in some removal here. And maybe it'll be my turn to draw Ancestral Recall. +1 plow. And something's coming out. Gotta decide what. I could cut Soul Ring. It was awkward running that Soul Ring directly into my own Stony Silence and then struggling for mana. The bet was it would be worse for them, and it simply wasn't, because they had Galarian Academy and I didn't. Okay. I'll make that one small adjustment. This hand is a keep because of the Lorien revealed. I'm in. Urza Saga. Likely to be awkward. If this works how I want it to, which is where I resolve Stony Silence next turn, the Saga doesn't have much left to tutor. I don't play a Vexing Bauble. Soul Ring. Gotta let that in. Once again, just betting it's worse for them, which may or may not be the case. Stony. If I force here, then flow state is on. That's the kind of the construction, the bet in construction. Is Cycle Lorien revealed, force something or draw a card somehow, and then flow state's on. Do I want to force this losing Flame of Anor? I really want to flow state next turn. All right, I will force pitching Flame, keep Force of Negation in my hand. Forcing me back's actually fine. Deal. Force pitching force. I'm okay with that. It wasn't really about the Thunder Trap Trainer. If I can go 2 for 2 while also still doing what I want to do on my turn, I'll take it. Right here, I'll grab Vexing Bauble. Oh, wait, not a card I have. Flow State. Solarian Academy. Send it. Hook it to my veins. And Stock Up's got to be the one. Though I do have Thunder Trap ready to go, and I can cast the Spell Pierce. All right, I'm going to go Spell Pierce. Might be controversial, but I'm trying to make the game small. They're trying to make the game big. And now I'm not as worried about the Soul Guide Lantern. I've successfully flow stated. You can take my Force of Will, another creature. But that's not what I can Spell Pierce. Ancestral Recall, gross. A Pyroblast. Alright, I could spend this turn on defense. Or I could jam out this Thunder Trap Trainer. Yeah, I guess I want to train the trap. Mindbreak Trap, Brainstorm. I think Brainstorm's more important here. I'm likely to pitch this Spell Pierce to force a negation. And if they rip it off, they could go wait for my upkeep, and then we just have a different conversation. Okay, that worked. They're hitting more land drops than me, though. It's not how it was meant to be. Maybe I'm sideboarding wrong, though. Like, I did cut Basic Island. Though it is awkward that I cut some artifacts because I knew I was going to Stony, and now Tolarian Academy is less powerful. This is just an island that has weak spots, exploitable weak spots. Another trainer. I think I'd like to brainstorm first, see if I can find some more mana. Okay, we're gaming. I'll put back Plow and Pyroblast. I can't cast those anyway. Ox Ruby. Academy's good for 2 now. I could cast this on their turn where I'm playing around Force and Negation, and I can protect with my own, but then I get to untap into Pyroblast, which is not something I want to be playing against. I think I'm just going to use the Trainer to clear the top cards in my deck that I'm not that stoked about anyway. Orin Revealed I am kind of stoked about. Yeah, that's a blue card for this Force of Negation. It's also my next land, which is also my red mana to turn on that Pyroblast that I just shuffled away. 5th land. I'm going to have to fight over Flame of Anor's. Like, going down 2 cards and a mana, not really an option here. Hexing Squelcher. All right, well, whatever happens, happens from here. I have no recourse for that right now. Okay, they just put Lurrus in the hand. I'll take it. No attack. Interesting. If I were them, I would want to give me the opportunity to mess up, which involves putting Thunder Trap Trainer in the graveyard. Volcanic Island unlocked. Blue, blue, red, Flame of Anor. I'll draw 2 and deal 5 to Hexing Squelcher. Is that even good? I mean, that leaves the Lurrus available. No, this is not a good play. And now I've telegraphed my play as well. Okay. I am going to pass and try to hit Lurrus with this Flame of Anor. Portable Hole. Interesting. All right, where's that going? Do they want the Stony Silence? Is that even what we're fighting over right now? Okay, going for my Black Lotus. Okay, I'm going to deal 5 to Squelcher and destroy Portable Hole. Okay, they don't currently have the mana to Lurrus and replay either of those things. Land from hand. Breaks it open. Another Soul Guide Lantern. Flow states are still on. Okay. Sapphire. This is more mana for the turn. Ancestral myself. Let's try to turn this around. I can hardcast Force and Negation on interaction. But they did interact with my Flame last turn. Well, there's why. Is red better than white here? I don't think so. Your hand is Lurrus, so I'm getting these draws. And I'm going to flow state while I can. Time Walk's pretty good. Force of Negation's not going to matter. They could replay Squelcher this turn. I'll take the Probe. And here we go. They're going to stick their Lurrus, but mine's still in the bank. Resolves. And do you want Squelcher or Portable Hole? Squelcher makes a lot of sense to me. Yep, there's that one. Okay, if I can kill this Luris, we're actually still doing pretty well. Do I have to pay 2 life to probe? I have 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Yeah, I might still do 3 mana worth of stuff here. Probe uses Black Lotus. Ooh, Thunder Trap Trainer is nice. I could kick that, but that doesn't get me through this turn cycle. What would they do with this turn cycle? Portable Hole, just something, and pass? Portable Hole, have a pretty good attack. Yeah, I could buy Luris and Time Walk here. I could buy Luris, play Luris, and then just hold the Time Walk for a subsequent turn. Do I want a Time Walk here or Luris here, is the question. My opponent currently has nothing going on. I think I'm going to Time Walk and restart with fresh mana. 4th Airlingus, okay. Do I want the Monarch? Can I get the Monarch? This can be for 4 horses. I think I want to kick Thunder Trap Trainer this turn. Swords to Plowshares, nice one. And Mindbreak Trap versus Stock Up. Mindbreak Trap does still counter spells through Hexing Squelcher. Stock Up keeps the gas flowing. Yeah, Stock Up. Okay, passing the turn, hoping they don't draw a banger. Like, they could Portable Hole, take the Stony, draw 2 cards off Soul Guide Lantern, and that's actually a lot of gas. Here we go. Yep, okay. The dam has been broken. Maybe I should have taken the Mindbreak Trap just for this possibility, this moment. Black Lotus. Alright, don't jack me up too hard. Lorien Reveal draws 3. Down to 2 mana, though. The mana gating the cards in their hand is pretty serious. Gitaxian Probe. See what I'm working with. My artifacts are on right now, just in case that matters. I could Pyroblast something. I could plow something. It would cost me Lotus to plow, though. I'm not really trying to do that. So if they rip off like a PO here and I have to plow the Squelcher to counter the PO, I will. Okay, well, obviously shooting my shot here. White, white, white. Plow, Squelcher. Pay the ward. That worked. It's a miracle. Counter target spell if it's blue. Paradoxical outcome, please. And I still have force backup. We got GG's in the chat. Okay, they must feel like their hand can't beat mine. And with 2 cards in hand and Saga ticking up, I feel like there's still game to play here, but they've seen my hand, I have not seen theirs. If they have 2 blanks, I could understand wanting to move on with your day. Really cool match, though. It will be important to recognize and how to build your plan, because I went all in both sideboard games on Stony Silence, and I lost one of the games because of it. And then this game, my opponent still hit land drops and developed better than I did through it, but I was able to get away with some clutch interactions. Very interesting that they have that gear and I don't, but I'm not playing towards anything, but they are. And I mean that one positively. Like, they need to make things happen, and I just kind of need to be alive long enough to take over. Much to consider. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play against not Aluris in round 3. I'm going to keep. I can peek at their hand and then play Gitax, and then play Thunder Trap Trainer. Opponent also has 7. Probia. Okay, white initiative. Look at me with this Mindbreak Trap right off the tippity top. That's a nice one. A Thunder Trap Trainer. Force of Will, Black Lotus. It's not Mental Misstep. Force of Will and Black Lotus both have some appeal. The Ancient Tomb is sticking on me a little bit here. Alright, I'm going to take the Black Lotus, and I will deploy it. This lets me hardcast Force of Negation, depending on how they sequence here. Like, they could sequence the Cavern of Souls as their land, which means they play around Force of Will but play into Mindbreak Trap, or they could play Ancient Tomb, Mox Pearl. Okay, Let on Cavern. That means I'm on a Mindbreak Trap setup. I could still force one of their Mox in. I just don't think that's a good idea now, because they'll have 3 mana next turn anyway. Chrome Mox. Exiled Witch Enchanter. That's not a card I knew about. That's great. Mox Pearl. Okay. Which thing do you want? A named Cleric. So it's going to be the White Plume or the Peacekeeper. And I think I just want to trap this. Now they don't know that I have Swords to Plowshares. And if their follow-up play is White Plume Adventurer, then I get to exile it and take the initiative. Stock up. Boy, that's tempting. All right, I guess I'll stock up then. Swords to Plowshares, Tundra. And that answers their whole thing. I could take Trainer Tundra. Yeah, I think I want another Trainer, actually. This gets punished if they draw Wasteland. I'll take Lorien Revealed. I don't think that Spell Pierce is doing much. Okay, here's Ancient Tomb. Clarion Conqueror is worse for them than it is for me. Let's hope this is the White Plume. It is. Okay. That's in there for now. And I developed a second creature last turn just in case something like Solitude came off the top. 1 unknown in the hand. End step Swords to Plowshares. Flow State, which is online. I'll go grab my basic land first. Island in the grip. Are there any red cards I would cast right now? I'm trying to think, like, what if I hit Academy here? I don't think that matters. I'll just play the island and keep up my 2 colors. Oh, none of this is very good. Scalding Tarn, and I guess I'll take another Force of Negation just as a blue card. They have so much mana, Spell Pierce is not going to stop them. Okay, pass the turn. That was pretty modest. But I do have the initiative. Uh-oh. Most things that cost 4. Okay, they're just tapping the Ancient Tomb. Yeah, Clarion Conqueror is in. That's a 3/3 that turns off a bunch of their own mana. Do you have a Cleric? Uh-oh. I might be in trouble here. Shit. Alright, I'm cooked. Yeah, I needed them not to take the initiative back. And there it is. Looked at a lot of cards in a row that weren't very helpful. I guess if I had taken that second Swords to Plowshares, that now looks pretty smart. Okay, Flame of Anor off the top. I think I will cycle one of these Loriens. Because getting to 5 mana to cast the other one's not going to be trivial without doing this. And that just makes my draws a little bit better. Flame of Anor. Box. Shit. Okay, a lot of trouble. And pass. If this White Plume attacks, I can chump with a Thunder Trap Trainer, which then is in the graveyard for Lurrus, which is actually positive. Okay, both are attacking. I could take 8 and they get to untap one of these, and then I could Suicide Attack to get the initiative, but that assumes they have no removal and no follow-up creature. I'll take the chump with the Thunder Trap as advertised. Wasteland. That's not a huge deal because I just die if I tap out for Lorien Revealed anyway. It does stop me from Thunder Trapping. Yo, alright. It's a miracle. I'll take that. Swords of Plowshares on top. That Wasteland actually does matter now, because now I can't play Lurrus and Forge onto it, which is what I'd like to do. And these Moxen don't make white, so killing the Clarion Conqueror to get 2 spells off doesn't really impact my life at all. Plow. Attack for the initiative. Yeah, I'm not in a damage race here. I'm going to scry and look for some help. Time Walk is help. Hurl to the bottom, walk to the top, and pass. They really can't have any creature here. That's what it comes down to. Is they get to attack, end up with 4 cards in hand after the archive, and then I have 1 turn to keep them out of the Throne of the Dead 3. I hope they just, like, Swords to Plowshares my creature and pass. Okay, nothing happened. Attack. Alright, Pitchcast Solitude beats me here. I can counter Swords to Plowshares. Oh my god, we're just in there? Let's go. Okay. Now I can cross the... Like, I might want to goad their creature, because a treasure token doesn't help me, but an extra draw might. Yeah, I'm actually going to goad their creature to get across the battlefield here. or across the dungeon. Cycle Lorien. I do want my land drops. I'm out of white ones. Time Walk. Power 9 card. Ever heard of it? And then we go into the archive. I draw a card. Still got to answer this 3/3 flyer. Force of Will doesn't actually help. I could YOLO Brainstorm. I think that's what I have to do. At Brainstorm, I'm looking for Flame of Anor. Stock up. Okay, Spell Pierce and Force Negation just determined to be part of this game, even though I've made it clear I don't want them. Lurrus does not help here. I've already made a land drop. Yeah, that Wasteland was actually devastating. Like, if I have Lurrus last turn, they're damn near dead this turn, and I have Clarion Conqueror covered. Yeah, that was just clutch, just being down 1 mana, even though I'm still playing the game. Pretty cool. I'm out of plows. I guess I'll Thunder Trap again. Well, there's Flame of Anor. I'm a mana short, a mana behind, as usual. Though, if my opponent attacks me for 3, I go to 3. They go into the Throne of the Dead 3. And I have 2 creatures that could chump attack in one last time. And I have actual Force of Will now. I'm also in the Throne of the Dead 3, though my deck doesn't have creatures in it. So unlikely to be a big room for me, where it is likely to clinch the game for them. And this actually has to attack. And I think it was going to anyway. Or is goad until your next turn? Like, does goading it and then time walking just ungoad it? That would not surprise me if that were true. Okay, no consign to memory to counter this. An opponent shows me Archon of Emeria, White Plume Adventurer, Chancellor of the Annex, Witch Enchanter. Take your pick. It's probably Chancellor of the Annex, would be my guess. Yeah, good one. An 8-power hexproof creature. That also dazes all my spells. Another Wasteland. All right. Yeah, that Wasteland determined the entire flow of that game. Or maybe if I had kept that second Swords to Plowshares on the first look, could have turned that around a little faster. A plows, consigns. Do I want to encumber this opponent? This is for dredge. I don't think I need this. Though they do play a lot of artifact mana, and then giving them all this stuff too, especially if they have Clarion Conqueror in play, is probably going to just freeze them up. All right. That was a lot of Force Negations and Spell Pierces viewed that game. I don't actually think Over Encumbered is good, but I think my other cards are worse. Like, there's just a lot of bad interaction in my deck right now. I could bring in Containment Priest. It's just a body with flash that turns off the Throne of the Dead 3. I think I want to cut my Mana Crypt. They're a Clarion Conqueror deck. As far as they know, I'm Lurrus PO. Here I am with 2 Force of Negations in my hand instead of any number of Force of Will. This does have the Cycle Lorien, Force of Negation, and Mana Rock untapped flow state open. I'll try it. This means I do have to Force a Negation various Moxen. Alright, not that one. I'll save it for a better one, though. I wouldn't blame anyone who countered that. Alright, I'll counter this one. Unfortunately, they did end up with a white Mox, but it's a Mox that cost them 2 cards. Okay, they also had Pearl. Yeah, it's not a good hand for Force of Negation. They must have drawn this for turn as well, or just forgot to reveal it. More likely, they drew it for turn. Right, Island Cycle Lorien revealed. I'll get a Valk. Flow state's on. Ooh, okay. Mox Sapphire is also on. Now is stock up better? No, I think flow stating and leaving up a mana is better. Because I have Plow, Consign, variety of things. Okay, Thundertrap Trainer Mox Jet is the grab here. And then I'll trap. Opponent did not play a land last turn, which means Force of Will is on here, unless they were sandbagging. But what would you even sandbag here? Like, do they actually only have 2 mana? I'll take another flow state. That was just a bunch of different cantrips. Okay. Did they have exactly 3 mana in their opener and the force actually did lock them out? Or were they holding back something? Okay. That had to have just been drawn. Nothing else makes sense. And that one means they may have just gone from casting 0 spells this turn to casting 2 spells this turn. Okay, Anointed Peacekeeper. That one's actually insanely mid. My hand is 2 of the same card that have different names, so naming it with Peacekeeper doesn't matter. Named stock up. Okay. Cavern. All right. So they either held back Cavern or held back Lotus last turn. That's really interesting. Why would you have the ability to do this and then not do it? I wonder if it's a 4-drop. What are we doing? Okay. And maybe they had the Lotus, but we're seeing if they could double spell and then drew the Cavern. I guess that would pass my sniff test. A flow state. I get 1 spell this turn, and I've already cast it. I'll take Urza Saga as a land, and Thundertrap Trainer. Saga enters tapped. I'm not ready to start blocking yet. I want a wizard in play just in case. Strip Mine, pretty nice. Is there also a spell? No, that's good news. Force of Will, nice of you to show up. Thundertrap, Flame of Anor, that's who I want in the world. Okay, start squeezing it back here. Gonna be at low life total, but that's not what's important. Take another 5. And do I want this land with Lorien? Or do I want this blue card in my hand? I don't have to make that decision yet. Okay. Ooh, do I want to draw 2 or destroy their artifacts? I could blow up Mox Pearl and kill Archon. I'm going to do that, actually. Destroy Mox Pearl and deal 5 to Archon. Just don't want them casting new stuff. They floated a white. I'll change phases on that. Cool. And now I can cycle this Lorien. I'll get Meticulous Archive and take a peek. Another Force of Will. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I can get and play Luris next turn. I will float this Force on top. That might be really good. It might be really bad. I can shuffle it away if I don't end up needing it. And I am going to start blocking this turn because that puts Thundertrap in the graveyard for Luris to set up the unlimited loop. Block. Okay. Force of Will's in my hand. Luris. Deploy Luris. And the things that would kill Luris are not humans, which means the double force should keep me pretty solid for a turn. Even if they have Solitude or Swords to Plowshares, I am prepared for that possibility. And they did have Swords to Plowshares. And then this is the turn I start kicking Thundertrap Trainers out of the graveyard and burying my opponent. Do I want to block? I could go to 5. No, I will block. It's fine. Because if I don't block, I could triple block with the Thundertrap Offspring token all next turn. It's a little risky to let that Mox come down, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, that's not a human. Get out of here. This Orc Cleric. Ooh, okay, that's fun, but it's not what I'm doing. Thundertrap Conqueso. I'll take stock up and ooh, Ancestral Recall versus Force of Will is actually, or versus Swords of Plowshare is actually pretty tight. I'm going to take the Plow, because I have basically endless card advantage at this point, as long as they don't sneak some idiot through who kills me. Okay, got the hooks in, turn the corner. On the draw this time. Nothing really changes. I don't think I want to be Stony Silencing them. Yeah, alright, these are my cards. Hope they're good enough. A Force of Will or Force of Negation, and then 2 sideboard cards that I'm not even sure if they're good, and I can't cast them. My next mana gets stock up going. This is a hand that might just lose, or I might just draw Tundra and win. I will keep this, though I'm not really happy about it. Opponent rolled to 6. I think I have to counter this. No, I'm not going to, because I have Force of Will too. If I only had Negation, I would definitely rip off. But I want to pitch the Negation to the Will and keep the stock up, and that's not really the universe that sequence is living in. Okay, I got an Archon of Emeria. We both spent 2 cards on that interaction. Do they have another round of beats? Brainstorm. That's pretty good, actually. I'm just going to cast it right now. Because a fetch land's great. Alright, that counts as a fetch land. 1 over encumbered gone. Actually, I'll get rid of both of them. That's fine. The plan was use that at some point to lock out attackers, but they don't have any attackers. And giving them clues and stuff right now might not actually even be good. Okay. Wasteland, Strip Mine, that sort of thing was likely to happen there. Happy to. Motobug. I will Thundertrap Trainer. I'm hiding the Tundra. I'm giving them information in exchange for hiding my land I care more about. Low state, that's on. But stock up's already in my hand. I think I would actually like a Swords to Plowshares in the bank. If they go Ancient Tomb Creature here, I want to be able to take that apart. Yep, another Wasteland. Another plow for me. Okay. A clue, a food, and a junk. I literally don't know what a junk token is. Oh, a junk is actually quite strong. That bottles a card that you can play this turn. I don't think I'm putting this over encumbered onto the battlefield. Okay, the next mana for me is very good. The next Wasteland for them is very bad. Having immediately drawn another Swords to Plowshares, I wish I had Flow State in my hand. Maybe that was just the right play all along. I had too much faith in untapping with mana. Mana? Yeah. Yeah. Now we're in. Thanks, Soul Ring. Okay, I could take Force Blue card or just 2 sources of mana. With this Cavern on Archon, that's pretty sus. I'm going to take definitely Meticulous Archive, and do I want to probe them? This is Lurrus next turn if I get the Ruby. I don't have a blue card to go with the Force. I think I'll actually take the probe. That also lets me build a plan what they might be working up to here. Plow, Archon, Chrome Mox, that is not very good. All right, Urza Saga is excellent. Okay, Urza Saga in play untapped while that's still a thing I can do. And I have enough mana to plow their Archon and activate Saga. I'm pretty far ahead here. They would need some sort of insane rip, some different 3-drop that's not Archon of Emeria that would take over the game. And I'm not even sure what that is. I guess, like, pitch Archon to cast White Plume Adventurer, get the planes, plow my creature, keep the initiative for a turn, is actually pretty sick. Wow, did I just call it out? Okay, they pitched the Archon, but didn't do anything else. Flow state. Trainer. I can flow state here and still do everything else I want to do. And Soul Ring's a powerful magic card. Another flow state and a lot more mana. I can just take Flow State Academy and play both of those cards right now. Don't mind if I do. Flame of Venor and land. Don't mind a land. Love a flame. All right, pass the turn. What's going on over there? Swords to Plowshares and 2 unknowns in hand. I have a face-up Swords to Plowshares. They don't know my other cards. Academy's going to tap for 5 next turn. I wish I could enchant myself with over-encumbered and just get all these tokens and use them. Karn the Great Creator. All right, well, that certainly is a card that can outmaneuver a Swords to Plowshares, but this Urza Saga is going to just kill the Karn. Okay, we're in my main phase, and if I make a construct that's a 3/3, tutor a 4/4, play this a 5/5, attack for 6, yeah, it's worth it. Oh, I don't even have to tap the Tundra because the construct is an artifact. Good job, me. And 1 card in hand, so they can't pitch cast a Solitude. Get Mox Pearl, play Black Lotus, attack Karn for 6, which is conveniently its loyalty. And do I just rip Lurrus into play here? I think I just want to hold up my handful of awesome spells and pass. My mana's so strong here that I don't even need to invest a turn buying Lurrus and then deploying it. When I'm ready, it'll happen. End step, fetch a Valk. I think I'd like to destroy their Chrome Mox and draw 2 cards. I don't even mind being aggressive here. I'm going to push my advantage. They'll probably plow a Construct token, but I'm still up 3 cards on that Urza Saga. All right, drawing banger after banger. Tap Academy for 5. Leave 4 blue floating, stock up. Another Flame, another stock up, and a Lorien. Stock up and Flame, I think, are the best cards here. I still don't have a counterspell in my hand. I do have Mindbreak Trap. Okay. I'm going to buy Lurrus. Wait. Play Lurrus. Black Lotus from the graveyard. Land for turn. Mox Jet. I can play that from my graveyard if I feel like it. And I guess if I had left Mox Jet on top, I could have stocked up here. It's fine. We got it. It'll be so hard to lose this game. We got the GGs in the chat. I was able to fend off their turn 1 play, and then their hand after that was really reactive, like Wasteland Strip Mine Swords to Plowshares, when my job was to build up resources, not really fight back. Their hand might have been really good in, I don't know, a mirror match, but that's not really what's going on. Had plenty of time to develop. On to the next round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables.
I'm on the draw in round 4 versus a Zerda the Dawnwaker deck. That's fun. I'm going to keep my hand with Force of Negation in it, because I imagine this has to be some sort of shops combo something or other. Oh, well, I'm wrong. I don't know what the fuck's going on. What is Zerda? Okay, so lands, planeswalkers. They can't have, like, Thundertrap Trainer in their deck. Pretty happy to see a Spell Pierce here. Bail me out of whatever I just walked into. Pew, 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 pew. MVP stock up. Spell Pierce. Okay. Bolas' Citadel does have an activated ability. Just trying to think of what cards can be in their deck. I will be in the trap real quick. Force of Negation, Mindbreak Trap. And they're not exactly blazing here. Mindbreak Trap's better if they don't know about it. Alright, I'll take Force of Negation. Sucks to show them a copy of a card that I already have, so now they don't even know that they're playing around 2 cards in my hand. Tez, Cruel Captain. Alright. Force that, pitch, flow state. Trying to get to my own stock up here. Ooh, okay. Forced me back, pitching PO. I'm going to let Tez happen. If they think they just beat the Force and then they just cast Time Vault here, that's money. Untapping Soul Ring. Demonic Tutor resolves. Oh no, please don't put Time Vault into play. Ciao. Alright. Time Vault is in exile now. They'll need a Karn to actually win the game. However, I'm not doing a lot here myself. I do have this Plow if they go into Zerda. Come on, without a good draw. Alright. Stocking up has occurred. Mox Pearl. Tez still has an activation here. They can cast Zerda now. Oh, Vivi or Nita. This is what we're doing? That is an activated ability. Fun, fun, fun. I don't know, their deck's really cool, whatever's happening. If they tutor a Mox here... Okay, they went for Sensei's top. That means I get to kill Tezzeret, which is pretty important. Plow, Vivi. Kill Tezzeret. And I can't play Lurrus with my mana anyway, so I'll Meticulous Archive. I want that card someday, but that day is not this day. Yeah, I want like a Flow State or a Stock Up. Something really good. Here's top. They can't play Glaring Fleshraker in their deck because of Zerda. Glaring Academy, pretty good. I imagine Zerda's going to enter the battlefield here, unless there's something better to do. Just flip the top, kill me. Urza! Yeah! Alright. I'm into this game now. Okay, Zerda's in your hand. I just got rid of Force. Can I be rewarded with a big dig for some action? Yes, indeed. Should I fetch first? I could just fetch, leave up blue-red, stock up. Ancestral Recall found. That one's good. Flow State also found. And another Thundertrap Trainer. I mean, certainly Ancestral Recall. And then Flow State. This stock up is about to be the sorcery. Is this like some kind of infinite combo? Okay. Abilities that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate it. Can't reduce to less than 1. Okay, so top still costs mana to activate. And you can spin Urza for 3 instead of for 5. Alright, I'll take Ancestral and Flow State. And I'll cast the Ancestral. Found Swords to Plowshares, my goodness. And Force of Will. All right, we literally had it all. This is a powerful back and forth game. Both of us have spent time on the bottom. I don't think I fight over Sensei's top on these low resources. My opponent knows that Luris is in my hand. Attacking might not be a good idea. Zerda makes infinite mana with various monoliths, Grim and Basalt. That's kind of what Zerda's for. PO for 2. Do I want you drawing 2 cards, one of them Sensei's top? Sure, you can have 1 card, basically. Pearl, Soul Ring, these are all back. Vexing Bauble, and that one's kind of a beating. But I'm at the hardcast Force of Will phase of the game. You can see if I can get away with that card being in play. Spinning the top. Activating top again. Hit your land drop. Play Zerda. Alright, it's in there. Threatening infinite mana with a variety of powerful top decks. They are taking the attack. Would I rather Flow State, or would I rather Luris into Thundertrap this turn? I can take 4. That's fine. Spell Pierce. Start with Flow State. Flame of Anor. Literally the best card I could ask for. A Flame, and I'll take the Tarn. I still have fetchables in my deck. Flame of Anor. Opponent has no mana floating. I will deal 5 to Zerda and destroy Vexing Bauble. Pretty nice. And now my counter spells are back on. Opponent's drawing Sensei's top right now. I'm still not sure that I care. This top is just so mid. Oh wow. Blind flipped a card. Just had a good one on top already. Stock up. Storm is 2. Alright. Hands full of counter spells. Luris in the grip. I'll take my chances. Mox Emerald. Sensei's top is back. Okay. Storm is 4. Spinning the top. I'm definitely going to block this turn because it's time for Luris Thundertrap. Flipping their top. Second main. Did they sandbag a Soul Guide Lantern? A Time Walk. I think I'm just going to Blusterstorm that. Storm is plenty at this point. Okay, they're finally out of stuff to do. Ursa Saga. I like that one. You're out of stuff to do. I am gaining stuff to do. Thundertrap Trainer. Leave 1 of each mana floating. Oh, Time Walk. I'll just take that right now, please. Okay, stay alive until you win. It's the name of the game. Nice. That was pretty fun. Okay, we're against some sort of artifact-centric Urza big combo something or other. Stony Silence looks really good here. Pyroblast, we saw enough targets for that. Swords to Plowshares is interesting. They can't have Glaring Fleshraker, they can't have Scrawling Crawler or Lodestone Golem or any of those sort of guys. The 8 forces seem great here. We did see Paradoxical outcome, which makes me kind of interested in the Mindbreak Trap. Though if their deck also contains Urza, Lord High Artificer, what's actually going on over there? Okay, I'm bringing in Stonies, which means my chunkier artifacts can come out. That's my Crypt and my Emerald. I'll keep my Soul Ring in just in case Stony doesn't arrive or gets countered. Pithing Needle by definition affects every card in their deck. Like all of their permanents have to have activated abilities. Still doesn't necessarily mean I want it. Consign to Memory would counter the monoliths, whatever they're doing to get infinite mana with Zerda. I refuse to believe that they have Zerda as their companion just because they can. There has to be a combo with that. That's too high of a cost. Like, even if it's not that big of a cost to get it in your deck, losing a sideboard card in Vintage is a huge cost. I think I might go -1 Spell Pierce and 1 Mindbreak Trap. I'm going to try to make it hard for them to cast 3 spells in a turn. Though if my plan is working, then Mindbreak Trap is bad. And I guess I'm going to think about it like that. I like my hand. Sapphire. Mindbreak Trap's on. Yeah, I'm not forcing this turn 1 stock up. Once I untap, I have so many options. Another spell. And a vault. Okay. Oh, and another spell. Tezzeret. I guess that one's probably a bridge too far. Alright, that one's countered. Tarn, Ruby. I can Pyroblast this turn and still do my Surveil. We've seen a number of colorless payoffs. I gotta imagine Tinker's in this deck too. There's a colorless payoff. Tutoring right away. Getting Black Lotus. That resolves. Meticulous Archive. Get a peek. Flame of Anor. I don't think I want another one of those right now, even though I do think it's good in the matchup. Okay, Taxian Probe. Show me your secrets. Pio, Bolus, Citadel, Vivi. That's a powerful hand. And Pio is an instant. Vivi could get crazy. Do I stock up and trust Force of Will to carry here? No, if I stock up next turn, there's a good chance that I still have Pyroblast up afterwards. Let's lose some flips here. Okay. Took a bunch of damage in the upkeep and draw step. That helps with Bolus's Citadel. Tolarian Academy off the top, sure. These are all vintage cards. Let's go. Untap Mana Vault. I think I have to let Vivi resolve and then fight over everything else that's going to happen this turn. Okay, do I want to lose stock up or Flame here? Because Flame could kill Vivi next turn, which it might have to do. So Vivi's going to be 2/5. Tez still has an activation, but it's just an untap. Yeah, I'm going to lose the stock up to deal with this. A PO over the top is fully expected here. Dig for that answer. Counter target spell if it's blue. The PO. And then, all right, so this stack resolves. I take 2 from Vivi. They put Zerta in their hand. And cast Zerta, actually. Oh, didn't do it. Oh, they used Tez already. That's right. 2/5 creature in play. I am gonna bonk Vivi right now. Okay, opponent has Zerta and plenty of mana to deploy it. I have Lyris, but it's multiple turns away and doesn't do anything once it gets here. Mox gives Tezzeret a tutor if they want to delete Tez to do that. Grabbing something like Sensei's Top here would certainly give a lot of game. Yeah, there it is. I'm trying to fade the top 3 cards of their deck being good right now, and then rip Stony Silence. And even that still has to be to Tolarian Academy. They bought Zerta. Pyroblast. Well, these spells are good enough to hold up. I will not be buying Luris this turn. And step top activation. And activate it again, sure. Just to make sure those cards are where you wanted them. Mana Crypt Mana Vault is my win con right now. It's technically raceable into the Zerta. Like if they take 3 every turn and I take 3 every turn, I'm winning that race. They did not untap Mana Vault, though they did seem to think about it. Manifold Key. That means they're not taking damage from Vault anymore, and they can draw multiple cards a turn with top. Activate top, untap top, draw another card. Then you draw the top card of your deck and the Sensei's Top. A modest interaction, but a powerful one when the board looks like this. Immediately spinning the top again. If I could get Flusterstorm on something here, that would be nice. Because Pyroblast, I think, is my more powerful card. Mox Jet. Okay. Well, Mox Jet. And I will telegraph the interaction that I have by placing Luris in my hand, leaving up red instead of blue. Alright, artifacts, keep killing my opponent for me. I need you now. They want to flip. That's not fair at all. They don't seem worried about Mana Vault, though. Many opportunities to untap it, haven't taken any of them. Well, here is the promised interaction. You've got 2 cards in your hand. One of them is Zerta, and you can do top stuff. All right, Force of Negation. Flusterstorm would not have won that fight. Untapped Mana Vault. We're taking a spin with Urza. Heck yeah. Flipped Volcanic Island with Urza. That's fresh cards to look at with Sensei's Top. Yeah, so Urza with some sort of monolith does flip their whole deck. Thunder Trap Trainer. Okay. We're taking a look. Pyroblast and Swords of Plowshares, both nice finds here. Challenge level impossible. And I had to tap in a way that means I still can't cast Luris. I do not, or I do have a sorcery. Yeah, Gitaxian Probe. These are very similar cards, actually. But taking the Sapphire means I don't have to shuffle all those bad cards back in, because I just put Lauren Revealed and 2 lands on the bottom of my deck, and if I put 2 lands Mox on the bottom of my deck, then Cycle Lorien Revealed, that's 3 bad cards I could draw. Okay, here we go. I need luck on my side to survive this turn. They've determined it's time to untap Mana Vault. And they're winning Crypt Flips. Stock up resolves. Storm is 1. Karn. Well, I'm not beating that. GG. Okay, the Stony Silence is going to be really important here. And I think I do actually want Mindbreak Trap. Consign to Memory is better than I thought it was. The Tezzeret, there's obviously some kind of monolith in the deck to go infinite with Zerda. I should have read that better. Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm. In Misstep, Sensei's Top has been a big part of both of the games we've played. I don't really want Swords to Plowshares in my deck, though we've seen Urza, and I suspect that's not a one-of. Plus Zerda. I do still have Flames. And Pyroblast for Urza. I guess I have to be okay with that. Do I shave Jet and just settle into hitting land drops? And I'm acutely aware that I'm giving up the theory of the deck when I shave this many mana rocks post board, because the theory over something like Dimir Luris is that we have all these fast mana rocks, and when I cut them, I give up that advantage. But is that a game 1 advantage? And now Stony Silence being part of the plan actually matters? I don't know the answer to these. These are not rhetorical questions. I'm thinking it out loud. I think I want to keep 1 plow in, and I would love to cut an island because my opponent's not attacking my mana, but having just cut all of these mocks in, I do still want to hit my land drops, trying to learn a lesson from that earlier combo matchup where I cut a bunch of mocks in and the island, and then my opponent just had more mana than me, even though I resolved Stony Silence. A Flusterstorm and Spell Pierce. And these are good on turn 1 and 2, but my opponent's deck has so much mana, but they're also good if I resolve a Stony. I could cut a Force of Negation. All right, I'll try that. I'm bringing in a lot of other interaction. Okay. And I might even want Pithing Needle in the matchup. Still not sure about that. Okay, this one is tight, but I am going to keep... I can do so much for this 1 mana that I have, and then my hand unlocks when I find the 2nd mana. I gotta try it. Opponent mull to 6. Mox Pearl resolves. I think I'm gonna misstep this Manifold Key. Keys and tops are their misstep targets in their deck. Alright, Gitaxian Probe. Let's have a peek. Seems we had the same idea. But guess what? Flow state's on, just like that team. Tinker Double Force. I think I have to... No, if you draw a land, you only have 1 force. That's how that works. I will flow state. If I find a land, I still have all my stuff up. Force pitching stock up. Okay. Yeah, all right. I accept that exchange. I'm not forcing that back. They're going all in on hitting a land that I can force their Tinker. Sold to the highest bidder. Force pitching consign. I will keep the Spell Pierce in my bank. Ding, 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 ding. All right. We're back, team. Vexing Bauble. Well, I can interact with that, so I will. And I'm going to cycle Lorien for a Tundra and then cast Stock Up. They said in the chat they should have let me flow. Yeah, that was, I mean, a really interesting showdown. You don't want the control deck to refill their hand, but also that puts your shields down. I think this game would have been more interesting if they had drawn a blue card and passed the turn and then drawn a land the turn after. Like, ripping the mana source right away, it's just too tempting to rip off the Tinker, but if you miss your drop, then you end up with force blue card backup, then the Tinker actually happens. The question is, do you think I would force back on that flow state if I had force? And I think the answer is no. And obviously that's the play I made, but I think just abstractly, especially after having seen Tinker in your hand, there's no way I force back on the flow state. So for you to want to force my flow state, you have to either bet I don't have a force at all, or just understand that I'm not going to fight over that anyway. But looky here, your boy's got another flow state. I don't think that matters. I'm going to stock up leaving red available. If I hit a Mox here, I get to flow state anyway, but I found Pyroblast, and I don't actually think I want these lands. I'm going to take Pyroblast Brainstorm, because I'm going to flow state next turn, and this gives me 2 layers of counter spells and additional card flow. Mana's not my gate right now. I just clicked away the Force of Will. I don't know why. They played Mox Jet, and I deleted Force of Will from my shown cards. They have a Force in their hand. Yeah, they were saying in chat that if they're going to force the flow state, they should have forced Pitching Force. Then their hand is stock up plus Tinker. And then if they draw the mana, they can test me with the stock up and then follow up with the Tinker later. But pitching the stock up to the Force, just kind of your only choice after that is, are you going to wait for a blue card or not to back it up? And yeah, I think it might have just been an aggressive Force in general. But whatever. Interesting, very lot to think about with that small interaction. On to the final round. July 24th through 26th, Excalibur Events will be running one of their 3-day weekends in Columbus, Ohio. This event will feature a CEDH 25K, Riftbound tournaments, sorcery tournaments, and Magic side events, including on Sunday a pre-modern 5K, which I will be attending and participating in. If you want to come compete, sign up in the link in the video description and use code KOVAL for $5 off entry. I'll see you there. My opponent has kept the hand with 7 cards. No Lurrus revealed. My hand is kind of clunky, but there's a lot of upside here. I'm going to keep... Oh, okay. Revealed a Chancellor. Might be in some trouble. See how good this hand is. And Black Lotus is pretty good at breaking a Chancellor bubble, but they do get to resolve whatever they want to do this turn. Free and clear. A White Plume Adventurer is the play. In a lot of ways, that's the least scary of the things they could do on turn 1. This one doesn't... This one just kills me. It doesn't stop me from playing the game. And as a control deck, I think I might have to be okay with that. Drawing a land is nice. I will fetch... Do I play around Wasteland here? I think I do. I'll fetch Basic Island to get out of the Chancellor bubble. I could Brainstorm Time Walk right now. This is pretty aggro, but it does set up Flow State. Nice, okay. Put back Archive and Pearl. Time Walk. Flow State is on. Pearl. Valk does kill White Plume. Or I could Flow State, see where we go, take a turn off, try to figure this out. I think I want to Flow State. Trainer. That does make this flame better. I'm definitely taking Trainer. I guess I'm not spending mana this turn, so I'll take the Meticulous Archive as well. And Stock Up. Stock Up's not what I'm looking for. I want more mana. They made the 5/5. Flame of Anor still kills that. 5 damages. Here's the Plains. Clarion Conqueror. That one's kind of annoying. Another Flow State. Okay, so my plan to Thunder Trap into a Mox and then Flame of Anor for full value is not going to be accessible to me. I could YOLO Thunder Trap, try to hit exactly Swords to Plowshares. I've got 2 of them. Still not great on that, but this does put a creature into play. All right, I'm going to Thunder Trap. We did it, team. And put 3 Spell Pierces on the bottom. I didn't want any of that. Okay. So I have a face-up Swords to Plowshares in my hand. Opponent's going to cook me for a pile of damage. Let's see if Clarion Conqueror stays home. It did not stay home. All right. I'll plow the White Bloom. Got to take the Conqueror beats. Flame of Anor could get me through here, but I do already have my basic in play. And I do need to take the initiative or I'm going to die to that. Wasteland. Please go after the white. Fuck! That was a good decision. And Void Mirror. Okay, so I need a red land. To fetch land off the top. Oh, wow. All right. Or just completely obliterate me. That's cool too. Stock Up. Flow State is similar to Stock Up, except I have a mana left over when it's done. There is another Swords to Plowshares in my deck. All right, I'm going to Flow State. Valk and Flame have returned to me. And pass. I'm mostly dead here. Yeah, I needed to be on board this turn. It was a good Swords to Plowshares. Hey, I got a 4. And then there's nothing I can do about the Throne of the Dead 3 in the main deck here. And another creature. That makes my land come into play tapped. Okay, yep. Just a little bit too much there. Consign to Memory. Swords to Plowshares. The questionable over-encumbereds. I just have a lot of cards I want to cut. So over-encumbered is loose, but playable. I will try it like this. I wonder if Pithing Needle for Wasteland is something I want in this matchup. It is weird not having my own Wastelands in a deck this scrappy, but that's where all those Moxen are. Interesting. I will keep this. Full of strong cards. Revealing Chance of the Annex, cool. That's gonna be effective here. I will pay the 1. Though I don't have to. I could just let that break. I wonder if I fuck that up. All right, this is the hand. Deafening Silence. Cool. We did get them with the juke here. Or with the distraction. Like, that's not what my deck is. A Mox Ruby. Witch Enchanter. Deafening Silence. Okay, yeah, that's just not actually what my deck is, and I don't care. There is not a sequence here that results in me being able to answer Archon of Emeria cleanly next turn. I will just Thunder Trap. Having something on the board is pretty important. Okay, Swords to Plowshares. Now we're back in business. If they have to do dumb stuff like Portable Hole my trainer, I'm fine with that. Okay. Archon still deployed. Draw for turn. Plow Archon. Develop a mana. Well, I drew my tap land, so I guess this is just what I'm doing anyway. And over encumbered to the graveyard. Future Lurist action. And I do have a spell I can play on their turn now. Ancestral Recall. Archon of Emeria. I will Ancestral in response. That resolves. Flame of Anor is gonna cook their life right now. Destroy target artifact, deal 5 to a creature. Wait, this is not the best way to do this. Hold on. What is the best way to do this? Oh, I would have Force of Will up on their turn if I do it now. This is the best way to do this. Yeah, this is fine. I was thinking I could develop a Mox this turn and then do this in their upkeep, but this is fine too. I think I'd rather have Force of Will up, actually, between the options. Okay, you got me. Another one. What will I do? I was going to do nothing about answering the first one. Flow state. Well, I have to go to cleanup if I flow state here. Yes. Okay, Tundra, Soul Ring. I can just grab Luris. Luris. I still get a creature spell. I know there's a Swords to Plowshares over there, but I have Force in my hand. I think this is worth it. My opponent's clearly struggling. They're in some ways under their own Deafening Silence. Attack with my creatures. I have over encumbered I could cast out of my graveyard. I don't actually even want to do that. I'm going to cast Stock Up. Swords to Plowshares and Brainstorm added to my hand. Could have played that land, just didn't. Hope that doesn't end up killing me. Mox Sapphire, there's your non-creature spell for the turn. I will end step Brainstorm, because I don't get a lot of spells in a turn. Cycling Lorien Revealed clears those cards I don't want. Basic Islands back in the deck, just in case I get the initiative one day. Low state. Mindbreak Trap, Consigned to Memory, let's go. With that basic island back at the bottom of the deck. Don't want to see that one. And I'm in pretty good shape here. Cavern of Souls. Oh no. I actually want this to resolve. I can clear it easily and then take the initiative. That's fine. Having 2 different answers to this card and still letting it resolve is the power position we hope for. And I know the basic island's on the bottom of my deck, which means I can go get it. These little decisions add up to card advantage. You gotta respect it. Gotta believe in it. And do I want to encumber my opponent? Not even really. I guess I'll put Mox Pearl into play. And maybe there should be one of these. Do I have both in? Maybe it should be 1, or likely 0. The P-hole. You can have my trainer. I am going to forge on Dolaris. Let's get this game over. And now Force of Will joins the squad. Yes. They need to kill Luris and take the initiative here. They're 1 mana short of casting Chancellor, which also doesn't win the game if they could. Okay, Mox Pearl. You can cast your Chancellor here. Do I let this resolve out of spite? No, I'm going to force it, even though I do win the game anyway. Hiding the Mindbreak Trap, that's a card that they don't necessarily know I have access to. Okay, on the draw. Yeah, these encumbereds, I think I want 1 of those. if I want any. And Force Negation is better on the draw because I can attack their mana before they get to fully set up. Yeah, I think I'll just go +1 Force Negation, -1 encumbered. Okay, on the draw with Mindbreak Trap and access to Plow, I will keep. Mindbreak Trap sometimes misses and sometimes cooks their opening play. We'll find out together shortly. All to 6. Plains. Emerald. Ooh, Void Mirror. That one's actually annoying. Played around the trap and played around it forever. I can Lorien for a Plains and get Swords to Plowshares going. Wasteland. Played around it. Did not play around that. Not actually a thing you can play around. Well, if my land is coming into play tapped anyway, I guess I'll Brainstorm. Yuck. None of that helps. I'll get rid of Sapphire, and Containment Priest might be okay. Sapphire and Mindbreak Trap. Upkeep, cycle. Yeah, Meticulous Archive, since it's tapped anyway. Ancestral Recall. That card might be good in theory. Tundra on top of the deck. And we'll see if they can Wasteland me or if they need that to cast spells. They did go for Wasteland and a Strip Mine, my goodness. Do you want the blue land or are you going to save that for my next white source? I did just keep a card on top. Clarion Conqueror. All right. This game might be really hard. There's going to be one white source left in my deck. And I'm probably just going to Ancestral on their turn. 5 damage coming through. Wasteland makes sense. End step Ancestral, looking for that last Plains. I did find that last Plains, but it takes 2 turns to develop it. Oh my god. The Void Mirror is so good. Okay, so I take 5, then 5. I'm at 3. The fetch puts me to 2. I get a Swords to Plowshares in there and then die for Xaxes. These both fly. Thunder Trap's not an out. Jumping with Priest is not an out. Okay. I'll play the Plains, and I'm actually going to cast Gitaxian Probe. Discard Black Lotus, I suppose. I gotta discard 2. I'm so flush. Black Lotus and stock up. I'm not gonna have time to do that. Another Wasteland. Yeah, this is the small game where they never get the initiative. They never do anything that's particularly impressive. They just dance around Mindbreak Trap in a way that also turns off my mana and then just Wasteland me 3 times with some power in play. This will win games of Magic. Pretty sure I have no outs. Though, scoreboard, over encumbered would actually stabilize this board state, if I had time to deploy it, but this is the type of game where that card would completely take over. They can't even use the tokens and stuff that I'm giving them. That's interesting. So I played a bunch of games with over encumbered in my deck where it was pointless, but this, at least seeing a game where it would have been awesome. Okay, a positive record, splitting games with white initiative, and that's also including just a straight onboard punt. Just forgot how to sequence my cards with all face-up available information. Oops. This deck felt pretty anemic. I think that the flow state stock up shell is a good one, but I don't like what is going on in this deck elsewhere. Like, not a Soul Guide Lantern to tutor for with your Saga. Lurrus, this might be the worst Lurrus deck I've ever played at actually doing anything with Lurrus. This deck's not very good at winning the game. Technically, one opponent conceded when they saw 4th Aerolingus in my hand, but I never cast this card over these 5 matches. Lurrus did come up in most games because the games just go so long that you need to win somehow, but it's not because she was actually doing anything with my graveyard. It's because it was literally just a 3/2 lifelink I could reach for when the time was right. Maybe that's just good enough, but I think that we can explore this more. And what if we just abandoned the PO-less PO idea and only played the on-color Moxen, get like 2 Wastelands and a Soul Guide Lantern in here, and then we just become kind of Jeskai Lurrus. And from there, I'd want to explore if Flame of Anor is good enough with Trainer. There's a bunch of dope wizards. If you look at my Mox field in the considering section on the posted deck list, I put a bunch of Lurrus legal wizards in there that I could see playing. There's some good ones like Snapcaster Mage and Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then some bad ones like Slickshot Show Off. But there are a lot of wizards you could play in a deck like this. if you're trying to just turn on Flame of Anor. You would have to build the deck differently for Dreadhorde Arcanist to be something you really want. And I think Flow State just takes that spot. Maybe 8 is too many counter spells. So like Crypt, Emerald, Jet, 1 Force of Negation, that's already 4 slots you can open up. I'd want 2 Wastelands in the deck, a Soul Guide Lantern, and then that's 1 slot just sitting right there for another Wizard, if you like. 4th Aerolingus, I don't really know if I believe in this guy as the best thing we can be doing. That might be another 2-drop Wizard. Yeah, there's a lot to think about with this shell and how to construct it. And I'm not going to do all of that right now because the video would be another 2 hours long. I'm going to leave this one here with that feedback for now. Really cool to have a very important tournament less than a month away and a card shaking up potential fundamental deck building of the format, or at least a subset of the format. There's a lot of decks that don't care about Flow State. They're not going to play it. They're not going to change how they play because it exists. But if there is a new blue shell that exists, because Stock Up completely changed how Vintage decks are built, and Flow State, it's not dissimilar to Stock Up, especially in decks that also contain Stock Up. A lot of fun. I hope to explore this a bit more before NYSE. Still not convinced this is necessarily better than just putting Psychic Frog in your deck, but if it is better, I want to know about it. John, thanks for the opportunity to play this. I am actually level 1. Thanks for putting the idea out there to iterate on. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, sign up for the NYSE Open. I'll see you next time.